Hello and welcome into a new edition of Only Weird Games. I'm Joshua Brisco here with Tucker Franklin. Hey Tucker.
What's up?
This is embarrassing. This actually isn't the show that we do together, and I'm also not Matt Verderam, and you're not Seth or Nate. Do you wanna talk about the Chiefs for approximately an hour or so?
I guess I can since I'm here.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're live, so yeah, we might as well. No technical difficulties, no mishaps here. It is, in fact, Tucker D. Franklin alongside me here for almost entirely everything weird, I think. Working title for now. As Nate mentioned on Thursday, he had his surgery set up for today, and as Seth has written about over in the Chief in the North newsletter, his grandfather passed away on Sunday, and he and the family have gone on the road there to be with them. So if you want to read Seth's tribute and storytelling there, that's in the newsletter, and of course, I know we'll have an outpouring of well wishes for both of the guys today, but that means Tucker gets the game day activation here, and it's a big week to be talking about the Chiefs. We had a weird, quiet bye week for the Chiefs themselves, and then absolute chaos around the rest of the AFC. I think we're going to be able to set us on the right track for a very, very important Broncos week. So, Tucker, I did everything else with Nick Springer in your spot yesterday, so this works out great for you and me to just catch up and talk about the weekend. How did you enjoy the bye week festivities?
I enjoyed the games. I do think it is a very funny. Now I haven't recorded it. I have certainly talked with Matt Verderam since we recorded our podcast because he was actually in Lambeau for that game. Unfortunately,
wow.
He drove to Lambeau to cover that game for Sports Illustrated. But I think it was poetic the way the weekend started with the Broncos and Raiders 10-7 stinker, and it ends with a Packers and Eagles 10-7 stinker and a perfect stinker sandwich. I think this week of football was absolutely chaotic, as we will get to and we will talk about. But man, it was one of those weeks where you're glad that the Chiefs had a bye week, so you could just especially during the witching hour, it was like, well, now I got to go to this game, and then this game is here. I know that's what Red Zone's for, but I like to do my own manual Red Zone. I like to be my own Scott Hansen to dictate where I am taking the games. But it was I went and watched an early Sunday matinee movie. Went back home and then caught up on some football. Overall, good weekend, good relaxing weekend that we got to take part in.
Yeah, very similar story here. I enjoyed. I let Scott do all the work from noon to 4-ish. The afternoon games were some dookie stinkers there, and I got to do a little Friendsgiving, a little early Friendsgiving on Sunday night. So I was not dialed into what sounded like a absolute barn burner on Sunday Night Football of two teams we all believe in the AFC. No, I caught up on the Cliff's notes there, and I think most of my priors on the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably okay. The only thing that I was really upset to miss was that the game started 3-2. And I didn't get to witness that in person. I'm still not sure how that safety got scored. I frankly don't know if I care. Was it an Aaron Rodgers thing, or was it somebody else?
Yeah,
Do you remember?
He fumbled. He rolled out in the end zone, rolled out to his right, and he got jumped on the back, and he dropped the ball, and he fell on top of it.
Okay, so that's very funny. So I'm a little bit upset that hasn't made it across. I've been online too much the last few days. I'm upset that nobody has just sent me that highlight. But that's the only thing of import I think I missed on Sunday Night Football. And there was chaos. The thing we have to start with, and obviously, again, it's weird because it's the bye week and Chiefs Broncos is going to be massive. But the Buffalo Bills follow up their annual regular season win over the Chiefs with as big of a single game stinker as I think anybody's probably laid at any point this NFL season. I don't know if there was a bigger numerical upset somewhere else, but they effectively got boat raced by the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't weird. It wasn't fluky. It was wire to wire. If you just were watching those two games without knowing anything about their records or what the teams in that division have done so far this year, you would have left confidently believing that the Miami Dolphins were a better football team. I don't think they are, but man, it's a pretty funny way to follow up all of the Bills' regular season Super Bowl allegations.
I do believe that Greg Rousseau said it was hot. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I did.
He said it was a little too warm for him
Yeah.
down there in Miami. Devon H.A., an incredible game again. Just going off. It's like you see a running back and you're like, man, wouldn't that be nice in Kansas City? Like, wouldn't that be nice to have a running back like that in Kansas City? Now, I don't think Devon H.A. was on the table. But
I also
Breece
watched
Hall,
that and was like, wouldn't it be cool for the Chiefs to run the ball against this defense? I bet that would be awesome.
Yeah, Breece
Little
Hall.
comedy.
He also kind of went off a little bit too.
He did.
But back to the Bills game. What I think is funny, if you look at the stat sheet for Josh Allen, you would see those numbers and be like, man, he had a good day. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. You know, 1 pick, 2 touchdowns, just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. But his fumble, so bad. Off on like a tush push, he just like kept stretching out there, right? It gets punched out. The Dolphins get the ball. The defense couldn't stop anybody. Tua also throws a couple of really bad interceptions as well, just like, you know, as Tua does.
Yes,
he's
Tua.
going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the one interception that Josh Allen throws comes in the end zone. Like, that's a very crucial interception. Again, like you talk about Patrick Mahomes in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, he threw an interception and it just happened to be a 99-yard pick six, right? So, like, that's incredibly unfortunate. They were thoroughly outplayed. And that is one of the things about the AFC this year that is so crazy. And I've talked about this on the stream before. I don't think I've talked about it on that football show, but the Circle of Suck. Have you heard of the Circle of Suck?
I think so. Bring me up to speed.
Yeah, so it's every team. It's already been completed, actually, in the NFL.
Yes.
Every team in the NFL has beat every team in the NFL, if that makes sense.
Yes,
The way you can do it is you
100%.
can lay it out by one team, and then you can take it from there and go all the way around, because every team has beaten every team, and just how crazy and also quick that happened. I believe it was like week 7 or 8 that happened.
I mean, I think for a while we were just waiting on the Jets. Like, I think we were just waiting on the Jets to beat anybody, and then if it wasn't that week, it would have been the week after to complete that Ouroboros.
Yeah, so great word for it.
Thank you. You brought up the Circle of Suck, and I was like, I'm gonna get a high scoring Scrabble word out of this segment today.
I haven't played Scrabble in decades.
You want to get one of the apps, and then we can just have like Words with Friends
Like
or
Words
whatever.
with Friends, yeah.
I play a lot of the New York Times mini games now. I eventually subscribed because I missed the mini crossword and they had a deal.
Yeah.
And that's not a plug for Nate because he's not there anymore. And so far, as far as I know, there's not an ESPN Games app.
Not yet.
I have to get my solitaire from other places.
For $35 a month. Oh, sorry.
Speaking of Devon H.A., by the way, it was 195 yards after contact. 165 rushing, 30 receiving against the Bills. That's from Next Gen Stats. He forced 11 missed tackles. I know we've kind of hit both sides of this coin already, but I did have the experience of like, man, would have been cool to have Breece Hall, or we've been talking about Devon H.A. as soon as we all learned who he was in Miami. Like, oh, that would have made a lot of sense here. And we talked about like Elijah Mitchell and what the Chiefs are going to do for quite a while. I did watch that thing. Man, I couldn't have found 5 or 6 more carries for Kareem Hunt. He was never going to bust one and get to Devon H.A.'s speed. That was not on the table. That is not what I was asking Kareem Hunt to do. But it was frustrating. And in that Circle of Suck, this is the ass list. This is the Circle of Suck. This is my take that everybody's the Chargers. We really are just the muck that I talked about earlier in the year. We are never creating any distance, and no one is creating real distance between themselves and everybody else. Daniel Jones cannot stop putting the ball on the ground or in danger, even as the Colts are perhaps the team in the AFC most deserving of your accolades to this point. The Broncos are, look at the standings, running away with the AFC West. Look at the football games. I simply can't believe that this is a team I have to fear. We always talk about how thin the margins are.
Yeah.
This is probably the wildest season that I can remember, at least off the top of my head.
I'm glad that you brought up the Broncos. Obviously, this is a team that the Chiefs will play this week, and I need to save a lot of my Broncos takes because it's a long week, right? Don't want to burn yourself so early.
Yep.
I have a really upset Broncos and Falcons fans today. Weirdly enough, I didn't know there was a lot of them. But
do either of those teams believe in their quarterback?
No, I talked some mess on the trade that they did. The Falcons did to trade back up for James Pierce, and I said, whenever you have to trade up for a guy to get 1.5 sacks, you have to do it.
And that draft pick next year is they'd probably like to have that, maybe to look at another quarterback.
Yeah, it's the Rams now have pick number 10, so that's good for the Rams, and they're going to get a really good football player. So I'm sure that the Falcons fans will tell me that I was wrong in that regard, and they still did a really good trade. Nevertheless, I didn't know there was that many Falcons fans, like 4 of them. That's crazy. And then the Broncos fans, I noticed last night, Josh, I don't know how much you were online last night after the Packers game and the Eagles contest. That was absolutely just mind-numbingly dull as like Scott Van Pelt and Joe Buck tried to tell us that this was actually an entertaining football game. They kept trying to say it. They were like, this is actually a really good football game, guys. Like, this game's 0-0 at halftime. Actually, it's really good, though. Like, you guys need to keep watching. It's really good. It wasn't. And then you have just, like, some confusing coaching decisions by, like, Sirianni. You've got the awful false starts not called on the tush push. Like, that game had
lots of Russell York getting in there. Is that his name?
Russell Dork. That's his government name, according to me.
And I got a Monday Night Football experience watching that whole thing wire to wire, like tuned in that I know everyone else did watching the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, but I hear the radio broadcast now. I understood it more on last night.
I don't know. I don't need to go on Russell. I don't need to go on.
No, and frankly, Russell's the second of my concerns, but that's well covered ground. I would say Russell is less than 33% of the problem. Go ahead.
I'm going to let that one breathe for a little bit. So Broncos fans were using that game to justify their 10-7 stinker of, good teams have bad games sometimes.
Right.
The only problem, they played the Raiders. You're going to justify the Eagles coming out there and not playing very well, or the Packers going out there and not playing well, because they're two good teams playing each other, right? Like, I think we agree that the Packers and the Eagles are top tier teams in the NFC.
Absolutely.
Bad games happen sometimes. It was super windy. The conditions were not necessarily ideal. But sometimes, you lay some stinkers. Both teams lay a stinker. They played the Raiders. The Chiefs, that game was like 28-0 at halftime, right? I don't remember. But the Chiefs quit midway through the third quarter.
Yes.
Gardner Minshew got in the game, and they ran 13 straight run plays against the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Broncos are out here saying, well, sometimes bad teams lay stinkers. And obviously, Chiefs fans know this all too well.
Yes.
I mean, They played the Jacksonville Jaguars and had 13 penalties and turned the ball over way too many times, and they lost to the Jaguars. Obviously, that happens. But to justify their awful quarterback play and their awful play calling, their awful coaching, their awful offense, because games sometimes good teams play bad games. Good teams do not play bad against the Las Vegas Raiders, Josh.
You simply cannot argue that sometimes the Raiders hold good teams to 10 points. You have no evidence to support that. I will say along those lines, my Tuesday Broncos take is that I am so frustrated. I'm so annoyed. Not even frustrated. I'm so annoyed by the fact, like, when I tweeted out after Thursday Night Football that this was like the least impressive 5-game stretch of 5-0 football I've ever seen. There were people responding like, yeah, I guess you didn't watch the Chiefs last year. It's like, no. I did. That's the point. I know what I'm talking about. I know what it's like to watch unimpressive football, and the results, of course, matter. Yeah. This brings me to something that I talked about on Everything Else yesterday, which you can get wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Everything Else with Joshua Brisco, and it'll be there. And so I'm not going to just rehash it all, but I'll bounce some of it off you, and I know obviously believe it or not, there are probably people who don't listen to every second of both shows. I hate to hear that, but it's probably true. They're too busy watching KCSN live every single day from noon to 1 or noon to 3 on trade deadline day.
Yeah, God bless.
I do think that we will all get a little bit healthier if we can stop making the Chiefs the measuring stick for the rest of the NFL, because it is the circle of suck. It is the Ouroboros and all of those things we've already talked about, where you just can't use that transitive property to just go, well, the Jags look like this against the Chiefs, therefore they're going to look like this against this other team. The Bills, and frankly, the Bills outplayed the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs had a chance to tie that thing up very late. The Bills were clearly the better football team throughout the game, and the Chiefs still had a chance, which I think is kind of good news on some level, right? Like, the Chiefs rolled out a C- football game, a C game,
yeah.
and they were a Tyquan Thornton couple of inches away from that game being right back into the record books.
That's the best the Bills have played all year, by the way.
And they follow that with the stinker against Miami. I really do think the Chiefs are everybody's Super Bowl thing. I do think that can get excusey. I do think that can be a little bit overstated, because even when it's true, it's just what you have to survive with. The Patriots had to live with that for years and years and years, and may have to live with that for future years. Damn you! Damn you, Foxborough! Damn you, Robert Kraft! I guess he's the consistent part. Maybe I was all Belichick or Brady. No, just Robert Kraft and Drake May and Mike Vrabel now. That's unbelievable. But ultimately, and like Seth talks about how styles make fights, and there's that's part of it. But ultimately, we've just learned that Chiefs-Bills tells you very, very little about Bills-Dolphins. It's what we saw from the Jags, where again, I think Super Bowl is too much. But the Jags on Monday Night Football got to say, you know what we're doing here, everybody? Here, you know what we're doing here in Duval? We are hosting the de facto reigning champs, obviously not actually, but the team in the AFC, and certainly the conference champions, perpetually for seemingly all of our recent memory. We are going to host the Standard in the American Football Conference here at home, national TV, Monday Night Football. If you don't have your blood pumping for this, you're never going to play in the NFL. Like, this is as much as we can ratchet this up, because we can prove something as the often doubted Jacksonville Jaguars. We can prove we belong in the class with the Chiefs. And they did that. The Chiefs made mistakes, the Jags made plays, and then the rest of the season goes on, because for the Chiefs, that was Monday. It was Monday night on the road in the AFC South. It wasn't a statement game at home in Duval. So all of that to me is one of the lessons we can try to learn from where the AFC is right now. We won't learn it for very long. And the results, of course, do matter, and never more than in this game against the Broncos. Because I do think that we'll get to more of this, but if the Chiefs lose this game, we just kind of have to start talking about the wild card until further notice.
100%. And I think that with all of the parody that's going on right now, I did just drop the ass list before the show started. So if you want to go see that,
I haven't seen it.
I had to meditate on it a little bit. I couldn't just tweet it out right after the Monday Night Football game, because it was just like, I have to think about this for a little bit. There's some movement.
I have one huge question that I'm about to find out for myself. Okay. Fair. It's a fair decision you've made, but it's hard to see.
There you go. I mean, look, it's actually really hard, because I know that people like to take head-to-head record into account, but head-to-head record, again, we talked about the circle of suck. You can't really do that, because then you're gonna logically, if you're like, well, I have to put this team ahead of this team because they beat this team. If you use that logic one place, you have to use it other places, and then you wouldn't get anywhere. But it's one of the things where, looking at these games, watching these teams play football, I would find it very hard to think, if you were watching these two teams play football, as in the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs, that you would not say that the Chiefs are the better football team. And Vegas thinks that too, because they're 3.5-point favorites going on the road against a team who is 8-2, which Broncos fans love to let you know that they're 8-2. Congratulations to them. Winning games is not easy in the NFL. It's very tough, as the Chiefs kind of showed last year. It's a very tough thing to do. But those 8-2 are. It's an important game, maybe probably the most important regular season game that the Chiefs have had in a couple of years, right,
Probably.
Josh? I mean, it's got to be. There hasn't been a regular season game hold this much importance for this team in a long while.
Certainly not on this end of the playoff picture. Like we've had plenty of games where we've talked about the implications for the 1 seed. That's not the conversation now. This is with the AFC West hanging in the balance. It's going to be fascinating, and there are some legit questions for the Chiefs. We'll talk about the biggest one after not Tucker. Sometimes Tucker calls all Chiefs fans. Not here, not on this show. Today, I'm calling all Chiefs fans because you could be on the field at the 50 inside G.E.H.A field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA right now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. G.E.H.A is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll take a timeout, come back, and talk about who's going to start at left tackle against the Broncos. I don't know. You don't know. Does Andy Reid know? Find out next.
Heather Luce, broker owner, KC Local Homes, and Emprise Bank has been a great partner for us. They're our partner in Possible. Debbie and I hit it off immediately, and she was one of the first bankers that I would say sat down with me and actually genuinely cared about my story and where I was coming from and what I was trying to do, not just what kind of loan do you need, how much equity do you have, and she really kind of laid out my options for me and just made the process make sense, and I felt comfortable with it. Start to talk about it and think about it, a building popped up that I wanted, that I could afford, and it was in a great area. And so they really guided me through the SBA. I used the SBA loan to acquire it and really guided me through that process and made it happen. I think that we talk about that a lot, where we wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have what we have here if we didn't have the clientele that we do. I've always functioned out of a people over profits mentality. The houses sell themselves, right? Like, I'm here to help people and facilitate the transaction for them.
It was a pretty clear top topic of conversation in Andy Reid's press conference yesterday. Multiple questions around the plan for Josh Simmons. As you probably know, he returned to the facility during the bye week, early in the bye week. It was pretty much, it was Monday after the Bills game, I believe. We talked about it on Tuesday. So he's back. Andy confirms all that. No doubt any of there. But then he gets the question of, well, so what's the plan? Is he just going to hop in and start at left tackle? Reid was non-committal in a way that, frankly, I don't find weird. I'm giving you my take and the summary at the same time. To me, it was very much a matter of we'll get people out here and then we'll start practice and then you'll probably know. I think that they are going to, by Wednesday, we're probably going to know who's getting the first team reps in the week of practice leading up. I think it's good that Simmons had the bye week to start getting up to speed. My preference right now, I think just simply the best case scenario is that Josh Simmons came back in pretty much the same shape that he left in, and he's had a week to get reacclimated, maybe a little bit physically, maybe, probably a lot mentally of just he wouldn't have been in the meetings. So I don't know if he missed anything in the installs or whatever to get him up to speed. The Chiefs were very complimentary of Simmons throughout the offseason as he was rehabbing the knee and getting up to speed that way. So I don't think we have any reason to doubt either the work ethic or the mental acuity to maybe make up for some lost time, which is still what this absence was. It was, in fact, lost time for him. I hope that he is at a place right now where the Chiefs on Wednesday are comfortable saying, all right, man, Jalen Moore has been good. And I think that's fair. He has been good in that spot. And Andy wasn't too worried about Juwan Taylor, it didn't sound like. So I think we're expecting that he'll be there at right tackle. That would have made the question very easy. Jalen Moore, you're at right tackle, and Josh Simmons, you've got to play.
Have to.
But I hope that Simmons ends up getting the start. If he comes back, and because we don't know what he's been doing these last several weeks, whatever he's been managing, and we've got the family situation, whatever that means. If he hasn't been able to stay in the shape that he wants to be in, if Jalen Moore has to start one more game at left tackle, I don't think that's the end of the world. That's what he's here for. But I obviously think that being back through the bye, I'm thinking the Chiefs want him to get back to the starting job. I certainly would like for him to do that. But I think it makes sense for Reid to play it just a little bit slow. Yeah. It's still a rookie coming off of something that had to be stressful. We don't know what, but you're not gone for that long for something that wasn't wearing on you, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So hope that he's out there. Don't know if I'm setting my expectations just yet. I bet we know by Thursday's show.
100%. And I think that playing it that way is the best way for the Chiefs to go about it. Jalen Moore hasn't been a terrible left tackle. I mean, he would have been the best left tackle that they had last year on their team, and that was a big problem for them. So I think that combined with him playing at a above average level, and Kingsley Suamataia, I don't know what happened. I don't know if him and like at the preseason game they had like a little Freaky Friday situation with him and Joe Thuney, but Joe Thuney's still playing good. So I don't know if like what happened. If they gave him a high five and he got transferred some of his powers or downloaded something, I don't. Shout out to Kingsley though. Like Kingsley's been playing great. I was pretty critical of Kingsley, and he's from weeks basically 4 on, he's been unstoppable.
Yeah, and really like tangible growth that you can see,
Yes,
which is cool and I think pretty rare because it's hard to be like, oh no, this guard is getting better every week. That's harder to see than for a running back or a wide receiver.
100%. And this is a defensive line too, which I think that Andy Reid's approach to this situation is good in this regard because this is a defensive line with Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Jonathan Cooper. I mean, they got Dre Greenlaw, Nick Bonita. And they've got some dudes. They've got some pass rushers on this defensive line, and this is the strength of that Broncos defense. Truthfully, they are good on all 3 levels. In all honesty, we'll see about Pat Surtain. It doesn't. I don't think Alex Singleton is going to play in this game.
Did Surtain end up on IR? I keep thinking that he's definitively out, but I'll double check.
You know what? That's a good question. I couldn't remember if it was like he could go on IR or if he officially did go on IR.
If he actually did or not.
Because I know it was talked about with their bye week. It's either coming up or is around the same time. I don't know, but they do have an extended rest as well coming into this game because they played on Thursday Night Football. So
so real quick, now God knows if any story that seems definitive ever is on the current state of the internet. Sure. But from Heavy here was that he strained his pec in week 8. Obviously, he's still been out, but he has not been placed on IR. But it still seems like it's going to be a little bit. So.
Interesting. Yeah, that's weird if he did it in week 8 and they haven't placed him on IR and it's been, I guess it was only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Right, you're probably looking right at that 4th week, but it doesn't seem like, I don't think he's gotten an official word on the Chiefs game here, but
yeah,
again, might be different by Thursday.
Could be. And if he is going to be playing, he would be in what you would assume to be a limited capacity, which would be an interesting way of how the Chiefs are going to approach it. This is a very, as I was saying, like a very good defense at all 3 levels. All 3 levels, they are very strong and have some very good football players. I mean, Riley Moss has been a phenomenal corner this year. He's been one of those guys that's been jumping off the page and a guy you don't want to really throw his way. That being said, when it comes to the left tackle situation and Josh Simmons, look, we don't have any inside information on what shape he came into, but the fact that he was there, what was it, the Monday after the Bills game, so the Monday of the bye week, makes you think that that was a ramp-up week for him, right, for a conditioning week for him. I think it's been reported and talked about that he was in the facility a lot after the Chiefs drafted him in terms of his rehab, in terms of his development leading into rookie minicamp and training camp. And that had obviously helped him. Now, I don't know if foolish is the right word, but would it be too overly optimistic to think that he plays in this game? Maybe, because he's coming off of 5 weeks where he was 4 or 5 weeks where he was gone and not playing football, not game planning for these things. I don't think it's foolish to think that Jalen Moore starts. I think it's probably the most logical explanation for the Chiefs offensive line that Jalen Moore starts and maybe, get him that game day routine back into things. And he's sitting behind Jalen Moore. He's available if anything happens, right? But not necessarily starting in that role. And then the week after you start him against the Colts or something like that. I think that could be a realistic possibility. But again, this is a guy that we talked about heading into the season. We didn't know if he was going to actually be on the field in August. Like it was right. August was going to be the time that we anticipated him to even be able to be on the field, and then he was already named the starting left tackle by the time training camp rolled around. So, again, I think it would be overly optimistic to think that he plays this week, but I wouldn't also be surprised if he does, if that even makes sense. I feel like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth, but with this guy, I mean, with Josh Simmons, what he's been able to do already in his NFL career, nothing is going to surprise me, I think, at this moment.
I just learned, this surprised me, that the Denver Broncos signed Chiefs legend offensive tackle Jerron Christian to the 53-man roster today.
Whoa. I
remember talking about him through an offseason. I think training camp, right? He was in training camp from the Texans, and then J.K. Dobbins didn't go on IR today, but seems very unlikely to play in this game. And so, again, we'll get more details as they get the injury reports starting tomorrow. I think that'll. I'm with you on that. I think I might, maybe as a bit of an optimist, I might say 60-40. Josh Simmons starts at left tackle, but just the edge there, because he was back last week, and I think that's just. I'm hopeful for that, because obviously his ceiling is higher, and he won the starting job. I mean,
yeah.
But again, that'll be an interesting one to look back on. Wanted to at least keep people up to date on the read comments and all of that. So where does that leave us about the Broncos? We can't help ourselves on some level here. We have revealed our true feelings about the Broncos at this point. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make this a time where I also introduce on this show a take that I fleshed out yesterday that I think is going to be good for all of us. I would like for everybody, this isn't going to cost you anything, I just need to put a little device in your hot take factory in your brain where you make all your, that episode of SpongeBob, he's running around and, we forgot his name! Mm-hmm. Somewhere in that room with all your little SpongeBobs running around and making you think your thoughts, I need you to install an incubator.
Okay.
This is not for your typical eggs. If you want to have an egg incubator in your mind palace, that's up to you. This is a hot take incubator. And frankly, I think this is relevant now because I think this has helped me about both the Broncos and the Chiefs. When you turn on Red Zone on a Sunday, or maybe you're listening to your favorite shows on Monday or Tuesday, maybe you're having a conversation with a ball knower in your life, or maybe it's a conversation with a non-ball knower. It doesn't really matter. Having a conversation about ball. Sometimes you'll lift up that little chicken. There'll be an egg under there, and you go, whoa, this egg says Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL. Interesting. Well, you can immediately take that egg and throw it at your nearest house.
Yeah.
That's available. You can throw it onto your Twitter timeline. You can throw it at your neighbor. You can crack it into a pan and have a delicious Josh Allen is QB1 breakfast if you'd like. But if you give that egg time, if you put it in your hot take incubator, you give it 2, 3, 4 weeks. Give it some time in there to finish going through the maturation process. Whatever hatches from that egg, that's going to be a fully formed idea. You can believe that what hatches from that egg has had enough time for you to make sure, was this egg safe to eat? Do I want to throw this in my neighbor's house? Do I want anyone in the world to know that I believed this 4 weeks ago? I know it's bad for sports media. I know it's bad for water cooler conversations. I know this is at odds with the very fabric of the hot take industrial complex that I find most people are a little bit tired of.
Yeah.
But if you can find it within yourself to have your thoughts, share them in a group chat, have a little discussion in a safe place of incubators.
Yeah.
After you give that time, you're going to feel so much better. I have not overreacted to a Broncos game this year. I've watched every Broncos game, and now I've got 10 eggs in my incubator that are all saying the Broncos aren't as good as their record says they are.
Right, yes.
If I ever overreacted, maybe one of those eggs said, oh God, the Broncos are going to the AFC Championship game. Well, that egg didn't hatch. That egg is still in there. I just think a little bit of patience, a few deep breaths, and take your hot take, put it in an incubator, and I think we'd all be better off. This is my new offering to the world. Is anyone going to use it? No, but I do feel like it's a fair offering.
I like it. Are you a fan of The Office, Josh? Have you seen The Office?
I have. I'm not a perpetual rewatcher, so I'm not sharp on it. But I've seen it all, and I've seen much of it twice.
So you're familiar with the character Creed?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So what your hot take incubator has reminded me of Creed had a blog, right? And how Ryan set up his blog is he opened up a Word document and let him just type into a Word document, and he thought that it was going out to everyone to read.
Perfect.
Sometimes I think people just need to open up a Word document,
Yes.
type things into it, and think that they're tweeting them out to people.
Yes.
So I love that idea of just being able to sit on something for a little bit. But sometimes, Josh, as we talk about the Denver Broncos, that egg comes out and it's ready to hatch. I mean, it's pretty close to a live birth at that point. It is not there's no incubation needed. When you look at Bo Nix is overrated, that egg has been popped out several times, as you mentioned. I really think that when it comes to the Broncos, I saw a few people in the chat talk about this. Very good defense, as we mentioned. Overrated quarterback. Sean Payton is supposed to be this quarterback whisperer. I don't know if he forgot how to whisper to quarterbacks in his year or so off when he was doing that. Whatever he was up to. Putting bounties on guys, maybe? I don't know. But he has not worked with Bo Nix very well in terms of this. Do you remember that story that came out about his equation that he came up with?
Yes. I've completely forgotten this, so I don't remember what the mechanics were, but it was I say this with total love for you and Matt Verderam and that football show. But Sean Payton's analytical equation for quarterback play is what Matt Verderam thinks all analytics are.
No, it is 100%.
It is the most wacky-do Calvin Ball nonsense.
I just love how he's like, I know I want Bo Nix because of what he has in his backpack. That is also incredible. Also, Bo Nix is older than I am. That's not true, but don't fact check it. Peyton came up with the formula. This is from Seth Wickersham's book, American Kings, by the way. This is an excerpt from the book. Peyton came up with a formula. He looked at the rate of negative plays against Mahomes' total dropbacks. He invented this with Patrick Mahomes, right?
That's awesome. There's your control group.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, good one. Also, there's some plot holes in this formula that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Peyton came up with a formula, looked at the rate of negative plays against Mahomes' total dropbacks, percentage of sacks, fumbles, interceptions, then added them together for the average. He also liked to see a quarterback's completion percentage, although it wasn't factored into the algorithm. Like golf, a low score was best. Attempts, 1,349. 68 sacks, that's 5%. Fumbles, 14, that's 1%. Interceptions, 29, that's 2.1%. Completion percentage, 63.5. An average score of 8.1. And Sean Payton liked that score. Meant on average, something negative happened only 8.1% of the time. He thought that maybe, just maybe, it might reveal evidence of a quick processing quarterback, something that measured results, but in the aggregate, those results might be evidence of a future superstar. Very interesting about his formula. Patrick Mahomes wasn't the best quarterback in that draft class.
That's so funny.
And I don't know if Bo Nix was the best quarterback at that in this draft class either.
It seems like a stat invented to make Bo Nix the top guy from the draft class. I'm guessing there's a very good chance that wasn't the case.
Oh, yeah, here it is. J.J. McCarthy has a better average than Williams or May, and the Broncos theoretically had a chance at him, but the guy that Peyton loves, the quarterback who he has a shot to pick, is at the top of that sheet. So he did have a better score in this draft class, but to base it all around Patrick Mahomes, but then I think it was Deshaun Watson having a better score than him at that point. Which
Patrick Mahomes had some negative plays at Texas Tech because you know how he played the game? You know what his defense was like? He was slinging it.
Deshaun Watson had a pretty damn good football team around him too in Clemson. Did. That was a pretty good team. Deshaun Watson, great college quarterback, a phenomenal.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I guess we'll never know.
This comment from Paz Lou is both fair and I just need to clarify this. Paz Lou says, Josh, you'll have to eat it if he torches Spags. One, I will. I think you're probably right that I probably will have to if Spags and the Chiefs get torched here.
For sure.
Here's the other thing I'd like to say, and I'm going to say this on every appearance on any show I make all week if I can. I don't think the Broncos are very good. I think they are a good football team in a world where there are 15 to 20 good teams, and every week you flip a coin, and they've had heads come up more often than they've had tails come up. I don't They're not a bad team. I don't think they're significantly better than the Chargers, but they're ahead of the Chargers. I don't think they're better than the Chiefs, but they're ahead of the Chiefs. It happens. I think they are significantly better than the Raiders. It was 10-7 on Thursday Night Football. It's just noise. It's just noise in the machine. I don't think the Broncos are particularly good. I do not think Bo Nix is taking you to the promised land. I would bet a foot that they're not in the AFC Championship game. No, this is not a taser situation. That's pure hyperbole. I'd like to keep my feet. I've already got diabetes. Let me see how it goes naturally first.
True.
So far, so good. I do not believe in the Denver Broncos in the ways that matter. If the Broncos beat the Chiefs on Sunday, I will not be surprised. Like, almost at all. I would be disappointed. It would be frustrating. Maybe I'd be surprised in the way it's like, oh, wow, I'm surprised by the Chiefs for the first time in a while. Like, this is a real stinker. And the season, I would be surprised by where it ended up. If this is a 3-point game in the fourth quarter, I'm not surprised.
Right.
It's what the NFL has been this year. It's what the Chiefs and Broncos have both been this year. The game's probably gonna be close. I'm okay with that. The Chiefs just simply have to end up having the coin land in the right direction in this game. There's no room for error there. I am not telling you the Chiefs are going to cover that 3.5 point spread by a mile. I am not predicting much about this game in particular, but holistically, what I see from the Chiefs and what I see from the Broncos, the Chiefs are in a much better place. They are a better football team. The Broncos are in a much better place to win the division, and they could absolutely win this game on Sunday. So that's I'm not even really conflicted about it, honestly. I feel relatively clear-headed. I think the Broncos have some real static in the equation this year, and that does not mean that you are unqualified to beat the Chiefs, because so did the Jags, living off all those turnovers. So did the Bills, beating the Chiefs in Buffalo. So that's recalibrating for me today. That's where I land.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. And I had to kind of go back to the point that I talked about at the beginning of the show of the Broncos game against the Raiders. I had one of those Broncos fans respond to my tweet and being like, oh, well, the Raiders can beat the Patriots and all these other teams can lose, but you're not saying they're frauds. And I said, where did I say they're not frauds? Like, I don't know if they are frauds or not. Like, that's the thing about this league this year is that with all the parity, with all of it, the way the Chiefs have been playing, again, you wouldn't be surprised if this was a 23-21 game, right? Like, you wouldn't be shocked at all if that's just where this game ends up. And especially with the kind of the offense has been wildly inconsistent. The defense has also not had a pass rush. Those are all things that are going to be pretty difficult.
Bo Nix having all day and some lanes to run through is a real problem.
You know what's also really interesting? I think Matt Verran brought this up on the show. On That Football Show is what I should give you the name of the show. It
still sounds like you're forgetting the title of it. Like Matt Verran said on that, it was on That Football Show.
I need to pull it up because I think he's on NFL Pro. He was going through there and he actually gave a hat tip to the nerds on NFL Pro. He said they did a good job on that.
I remember this. I don't remember what he said, but I do remember hearing him give a hat tip to the nerds. I was thrilled.
I believe that, double checking, but I believe that Bo Nix has a worse EPA when you don't blitz him.
Really?
Yes.
I apparently didn't retain that.
That's
I was so
insane.
busy celebrating that Verderame gave credit to the nerds.
So, against the blitz, NFL Pro, if you go to Bo Nix's page, they have the player splits versus the blitz, and you can do like a bunch of different other things, like air yards, time to throw, everything like that. But versus the blitz, Bo Nix has a positive 10.8 EPA. That's plus 0.13 EPA per dropback. That's pretty good. Like, that's a pretty good dropback against a blitz. Good. Yeah. If you don't blitz him, he has minus 10.9 EPA.
Okay. All right.
And that is absolutely insane. That's minus 0.04 EPA per dropback. And that's more than basically 2.5 seconds to throw on that you don't blitz him.
Can you sort it by either time to throw or like pressure instead of blitzing? Because that's obviously, those are interesting and different things. Where like with the Chiefs this week, I think they're probably going to have to blitz if they want to get pressure, because I think the pass rush is still a legitimate problem. But maybe you just leave him back there. Maybe you just let Bo cook.
Wow. Okay, time to throw over 2.5 seconds. So the over-under is set at 2.5 seconds generally across the NFL. Like it's set at 2.5 seconds, which that's usually what is quick and what is long. A quick split for him. He's only had 143 attempts on quick to a 206 long time to throw. He has 4 touchdowns and an interception, only 801 yards, 94.2 quarterback rating. His EPA is positive 9.6, positive 0.07 in terms of EPA per dropback. Long time to throw, over 2.5 seconds. He's thrown 14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. His completion percentage over expected is minus 5.8%. And his EPA, total EPA on time that he has longer than 2.5 seconds to throw, minus 17.6. That's minus 0.08. So when he has got a long time to throw, he's a worse quarterback.
Which is not usually how that goes.
No.
That is so fascinating. I mean, I think that's partially because the on-time quick stuff is design stuff.
Absolutely.
And then the longer developing things, you are trying to, like, get through your progressions and everything. That's fascinating and probably deserving of a longer chat. But I just looked up. I saw the time. Time flies when you're having fun. And it's been flying by here. Let's take our second time out. And then when we come back, we'll take a little bit of a peek down the road.
Chiefs Kingdom, what is your favorite touchdown? By now, you guys already know that my favorite touchdown is the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. You want spreads? They got it. Over-unders? DraftKings got you covered. Same-game parlays, regular parlays? DraftKings has it, and you need it. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
There's some good things in the chat just over the last minute or so. I was just catching up a little bit there. I really like this from Steven. Still wanting the bodybuilding version of this ad read. Yeah. Have you considered, and look, there is a level of shame tolerance that I frankly don't have to, like, record a TikTok in front of people living their usual lives. Sure. I understand that lots of people do that. I don't want to do that if I can help it. Have you considered getting your phone out, taking the Rode mic to the gym, and just doing some butterflies? Like, just different lifts. Get on the bench for the disclaimer. Like,
yeah,
I feel like there is a rich vein to be tapped there.
So what I really need to happen, and I've talked to BJ Kissel about this too, what I really need to happen is I need to get like a home gym, like a home rack.
Yeah.
A home like rack Smith machine combo, right? If I want to do some other moves that are a little bit more controlled, but I also love free weights, right? Mm-hmm. And then I need to set it up in my garage so then I could stream wall lifting, so I could like kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Such a good idea.
And like I was telling BJ, I was like, yeah, it'd be really sick if I could just like stream while I lift. And I have a haircut tomorrow, right? So like I'm going to get my haircut tomorrow, and my barber has said that he's given me permission. He's like, yeah, you can stream while we cut your hair. And I was like, that would be actually an incredible time saver for me if I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone at this point too at the barbershop. Like that would be great. So if anybody out there has any gym equipment laying around. I don't have any gym equipment right now at home. I go to the Planet Fitness. I don't know if Planet Fitness will be down with that. I know I've worked out there, I feel like, long enough where I know Well, here's a fun thing about men. I don't know their names.
No,
but
it's not necessary.
I definitely see their faces a lot, and I say, "What's up, big dog?" or "What's up, boss?" I pulled a boss out the other day, and I was like, "No, I don't know if that one. I don't know if that one fits." But big dog is one I throw out there a lot. Big guy.
Oh, those have two totally different connotations for me. I think big dog and big guy are very different vibes.
Yeah, big guy feels a little bit more condescending. If I'm throwing a big guy, I'm just like, "What's up, big guy?"
Yeah, it does. It's why I try to avoid buddy also. It's like people say it and I don't think they mean it condescendingly, but I feel like if I say it, it's like, "Oh, thanks, buddy."
Right.
Thanks,
my man.
Little man.
Little guy.
Thanks, little guy.
My man's a good one. My man is a good one. KCSN gym coming in 2026. Yeah, dude, that would actually be sick if we just like built out a gym instead of like a studio. And I was like, BJ,
and it's always streaming. You're gonna see some crazy stuff.
I said, BJ, what if you take the money that we would use for equipment and put it on gym equipment instead of streaming equipment? Yeah.
Get a couple mics in there. I'll tell you what, we would get jacked. We would be by far, I think, we would become the most jacked network in the world.
Yeah. So like the Anchorman, like the Anchorman fight scene, we'd be OP on it. Like it wouldn't be fair on the Anchorman fight scene when that happens in Kansas City.
I think this is worth exploring. And I'll also say you're doing it from the barbershop idea is a great idea because like half of my suggested Instagram reels at this point are like haircuts and beard trimmings. Yeah. So I feel like if I can maybe get some tips from your barber while you're talking,
I'll mic up I'll mic up Roland and we can be talking and just chatting. He cuts a lot of the Sporting KC guys' hair too. B-Make said this is actually a really good idea. You don't need to gas me up anymore because I already think this is a really good idea and I just have to figure out a way to do it. But like in the summertime, I definitely thought of streaming from outside because you know, you get the right cable length and everything. My camera, like I can leave all this stuff set up right here and then get the right length of cable and take it out the back door. You guys have seen me come in and out the back door over there. However, I can move to get out of here. So, and then I could just be sitting in my driveway. Shooting hoops would be sick at the same time. Oh my gosh.
Dude. Get a couple dumbbells, take your shirt off, get out there. It's Terrell Owens time in the driveway.
Wow.
How about that?
So, Chad, if you got any connections with some gyms that would be cool with me streaming while I lift, I guess you need to hit me up. But
I feel like you just go you go straddle up to Big Dog at the Planet Fitness. You're like, hey man,
that's true.
Or like also in B-Mex, I think I call people Chief. That's great. Chief. That's a huge winner. We should all be doing that more. I feel like we should claim that regionally. You go up to Big Dog. You're like, hey, what's up, man? I gotta do. I'm not doing a TikTok. I'm doing a bit. And so you're going to see me talking to my camera. I'm not recording anybody else. This isn't a weird, like, showing up people at the gym kind of thing.
Yeah.
No judgment zone here at Planet Fit. No one else is in the shot. This is just me getting swole, free promo for you, talking about DraftKings.
Yeah, I forgot that we were doing the DraftKings read at the same time. So I was going to say,
aren't.
Yeah.
This is all me making more work for you. I'm not participating until we have the KCSN gym, and then I will.
Yeah, the KCSN gym would actually go super sick. I would be a member of the KCSN gym, just like it would be the member of like the Chiefs Fit, right? Maybe it's KCSN Fit.
We gotta change it. There's gonna be a very
I said
funny
that, and I was like,
there.
that. There's a lawsuit coming
for sure. So it can't be that, but it can be like we call it KC Sore Network. How about that? Because by 4:45 we are all hurting.
We have to lift. I have to lift for an entire 3-hour live stream in the middle of the day. You guys are locked in the whole time. And
at some point, you've like engineered your own saw trap here.
Yes. Imagine the ratings you get if you're like, all right, it's max out day. Max out day at the KCSN gym. Everyone's coming in. Everyone's going. And I don't think we can say that, Nate Dogg. Everyone's in, and everyone is going to max out when they come to BJ's Gym Emporium.
I think we need a couple more passes on this, and then we're gonna have this one figured out. This is a great idea.
I see. Like I've brought this up to BJ maybe like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Why isn't Matty Lane doing it now? I've seen him record himself. I've seen the videos. he has the setup. He's moving weight. Tater's World 2025, because YouTube's gone to just handles now, and that's my favorite that I've seen in a while. So Matt could bring his goat to the gym for you all to block. Like, let's do that. Like, talking about Chief, let's go ahead. Let's get the bison out here, man. Let's get the buffalo. Let's get locked up.
those are some freaking units, dude. Yeah,
I know.
I got spooked by old Ashley out there. Ashley's a small one.
Yeah, no, I feel like you should have stood your ground there, but that clip is hysterical. Did you tweet that out anywhere?
Yeah, I tweeted it out. Maybe
Okay.
I'll go retweet it right now, just so if
should.
people are watching and they're listening to the podcast after the fact, they can go and it'll be at the top of my timeline. But
Rachel says
KCSN
KC
Combine,
Swole Network. That's good.
that is a good one. Casey Swole.
Only Weird Jim. That's good from Watch Gurk. We really whatever happened with the YouTube username thing really took this from sounding like just some folks talking about football to suddenly now like it is a Twitch chat. We're just like, yeah, great comment there. Tater's World 2025. Matt said he could block a bull.
So what I've started to do on KCSN Live is I'll just pick out one part of their username and I'll say it, like Nate Dogg, right? Like Pass Lou. I mean, we've always called him Pass, right? Like I just say Taters or like Rachel.
like
So like that's what I've been doing, just because like I don't know what YouTube's up to, because some people have said that you on sometimes when they're watching on other channels that YouTube, like their display name shows up, and sometimes like it doesn't. So I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if it's a setting that we've had to turn on. Either way, I can't figure it out.
There's no way it's something that you have done. This is Google,
Right.
YouTube, something.
Yes.
I guess this is just above our pay grade, and that's fine. Oh, we can call it the G.E.H.A Gym. That's a great idea, Nate Dogg.
Yeah, I do like that. This
Come
is a
to
great idea.
Come to
Like
the
I
KC
think
Swole
we're there.
Network and get a G.E.H.A.
I think we're onto something here. Somebody, KC Swole Network is Campbell Cooks gave us a super chat. Shout out Campbell Cooks. KC Swole Network. It's later in the
Come
podcast.
on out to KC Swole Network. Get yourself a G.E.H.A.
And we need to shoot. We can shoot commercials for it.
Careful
Josh.
with careful with your Bo Penix, but
Right. We need to do Globo Gym Purple Cobras type commercials and advertisements for it. You know.
I've got plenty of sweatbands and stuff. We both have the Chief Zubaz. I feel like we could just throw those on. I feel like this will be easy to sell to everyone except for BJ, because we are going to need that initial investment somewhere.
Yeah, we're gonna need some capital up front. And here's the thing about gyms. Pretty expensive. You got to have a lot of upfront capital to start a gym. I mean, you got to have a lot of equipment, and the equipment's not cheap. You got to have insurance. Ugh.
Okay, well, I've got a heavy bag and a stationary bike downstairs.
Yep.
We know Seth's got a bike. I feel like Seth probably wants to do this. He's been itching to work out on stream for a while now, I think.
It's true. Maybe I should just invite him on KCSN Live, and we can just do bike together or something. You know.
That's a great idea. I feel like he would probably do that. And just listening to you guys trying to like keep a conversation going in like the 45th minute of your bike. I've been riding the bike while playing College Football 26. And it helps. It doesn't make it fun, but it helps.
Yeah, my parents have a treadmill that they said I could have. I just don't know where I would put it. You know, you guys are basically seeing my whole living area. Do I put it back?
You've
there,
got
you
it. Hey,
think?
bud, you got to finish that sentence quicker than you did. You paused it. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know what I was saying. So like,
No, it's fine. We're seeing your entire basement is what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is all that I have. I'm showing you
I'm
everything.
excited for that to get clipped. Well, look, it was important to me that we get out in less than an hour. We did 40 minutes of Chiefs talk, and we've brought and Sharks. We're asking you today for $1 million for 49% of KC Swole Network.
Yeah.
So if you want to just Venmo that to me or Tucker, we'll figure out our share. Yeah, send it to Tucker D. Franklin, and then I'll make him pay all the taxes for it, and then I'll come in for my share later. That's okay. You've claimed it. Nope, this is all going to. I love the idea that people are just now going to donate their unused workout equipment, and then we're just going to go take over an abandoned Kmart. I think that's like there is no signage. It's not legal. We're just streaming from an empty warehouse with a generator and some old dusty workout equipment.
Man, I think Nate. I know you're trying to close the show.
We're gonna go over an hour. That's okay. We're gonna go over an hour. We're gonna have to wear that truth.
Right. Casey Swole's an elite name. There has to be a gym named Casey Swole already in Kansas City. If there's not, then we have to jump on this.
I feel like there should be one at Swope Park. Like there should be a Swole Park. Like I feel like we've got plenty of room here. We can take over Arrowhead when the Chiefs move. That's funny.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, just leave it all there. Actually, leave all the equipment. leave it. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We'll take it. We'll take care of it. Don't worry. It's in good hands.
We can do this with Kaufman if the Chiefs stay. It's fine. Like whatever. We'll figure it out.
It doesn't look like Casey Swole is a gym name that's been taken. Just straight up Casey Swole. I mean, obviously, it'd be Casey Swole Network.
Yeah, I think KC Swole Network. We've at least the upsetting thing is we've at least got to go buy the domain name now because I mean somebody's gonna.
Shit, I didn't think about that.
I know I don't know. I don't want to put that on my expenses. I don't know. I've got a lot of ridiculous domain names.
There's some I would buy for a joke, and I have a price though. I have a price for a joke.
And a lot of times it's like, well, the first year's $2, and then but you have to pay for the second year, which is $25. Like, I don't know if that's worth it for a joke, and I don't know where I want. But here's the thing, man. If you can just redirect KCSwolenetwork.com to your Twitter or Blue Sky account or something, that's awesome. You can do that forever. You can start printing your own bootleg KCSN merch. You just have to move a couple letters around.
Dude, KC Swole Network merch with like the barbell in the center of the chest, I mean, it's only 11/28. Yeah, I saw that. 11/08 actually, and it renews at 11/08 too for .com. You can do kcswole.network at $463 a year.
Ooh, that's nice. I like kcswole.network. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite as smooth, but
right. kcswole.com.
Are you going kcswole.com or are you going
No,
kcswolenetwork.com?
I went kcswolenetwork.
It's a mouthful.
It is a lot. That's why I just did a search for kcswole.com.
Nate Dogg says Maddie would never take off that shirt. That's so true. If there's a KC Swole Network with a barbell bending over it, property of KC Swole Network XXL. Oh no! Now I need it. This sucks. Why do we have such a good idea live on the podcast that we need to make happen?
Here's a secret. I have made gym design shirts on Sleepy Boy, shopsleepyboy.com.
Almost wore that hoodie today.
And I have a base for the design. If you go and look at that, shopsleepyboy.com. It's the dog.
Oh, it's really good.
Collection. I think I called the collection dog. And it just says dog with a barbell bending, which is kind of sick if you ask me.
I mean, it's pretty sick.
And that's a base. I'm just saying that's just the base.
Oh, I love the denim haters are sick.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, actually.
Okay, great. So Tucker's going to buy a domain name, and then I'm going to buy shirts from Tucker. So that's going to be what I'm going to do with the remainder of my Tuesday evening. Tucker, I do have one piece of terrible news for you.
What happened?
There is one consistent through line on Only Weird Games, and it's that I sure as hell am not doing the outro. So I leave it to you, Tucker. Tucker D. Franklin, and the D stands for definitely planned an outro. Get us out of here.
I'm very honored to be on this here edition of Only Weird Games. I'm glad that I could have a practice squad call up and get the game day activation, truthfully. Yeah. Plenty of times that I've had the game day call up but not got the activation, right? I do have to say, I think this is my last activation.
Ever? Oh, no.